25 away from 7 o'clock. I'm Gareth Edwards. This is the Sunday edition of Newsnight. Good to have you with us. Now, many people, especially women, experience body shaming and bullying on social media. Recently, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, suffering the same fate. Pictures of her cradling her very own baby bump at the British Fashion Awards have drawn flack on social media. Others have now come to her defence. To discuss body shaming, especially on social media expert Yavi Madarai, who joins us, also the host of Tech Matters. Hello to you, Yavi. Why do we care whether the mom is cradling her own baby bump? Who has the right to tell her what she can and cannot do?
Exactly, right? But from a social media perspective, we sit behind these little devices all by ourselves. We're very brave when we're alone, in the comfort, drunk, in the comfort of our own homes, having all kinds of different emotions and feelings, and we feel a right to judge, not realizing that this is a very public space, and what happens in that space means that it's for the public to see and understand, and that body shaming becomes a whole other level when it becomes a collective and critical mass.
It's an issue not because Meghan Markle has been body shamed. That is an issue. But someone like Meghan Markle may have the gravitas and the platform and the persona and the weight behind it to come out and say, I don't appreciate being body shamed in public. I imagine many people don't. They're victims and they're bullied. How do they handle this? What should they do?
Well, what should they do is that we've got to also, and whether this is right or wrong, because people will say, but yeah, I don't, you're not in my shoes, so how would you know? These are the kind of things that we would talk about. But here's the thing. If we're in a public space, and remember, social media is a public platform, so it's like standing in a shopping center and walking around, making statements, being naked, doing all of those kind of things. Would you do that? No. So understand that that's the same as being on social media. So if you're on social media, understand that you're going to get public opinion, public judgment. You're going to have people comment. Did it happen offline? Yes, probably so.
Why don't people get that? Where is there this disconnect? I imagine someone's holding a device in their hand. Here's my phone. What do people imagine happens when they hit tweet or post? Take me to the mentality of a social media user. Where do they think it's going exactly?
The psychology of being engaged only with our phones. So the mobile effect, the cell phone effect, is in terms of the fact that because we're so deeply engaged, we've got such an intimate relationship with the extension of our hands, that we've got such a completely limited view of what is going on around us and what happens in a space like social media. The second aspect of it is, and you would have heard this a million times from people around you, it's my profile, I can say and do what I like. Yep. Now, what they don't realize is that it's not your profile. It's Facebook's profile. It's Twitter's profile. You are squatting.
Read the terms and conditions, guys.
Absolutely.
Read the terms
so that becomes the thing around whether it's actually your profile. You are squatting. It's not your profile. You are borrowing space. You have created a space for yourself on land that doesn't belong to you.
Okay, so let's say, for example, that it is Twitter expropriation without compensation, it seems, is the analogy you've used. What rules are in place from Twitter, from Facebook, from Instagram, Snapchat, good grief, I'm going to be here all night, with all of these social media platforms? Because if you are merely lending space, you are renting space, you are squatting in their space as the landlords, to use your analogy of that, why aren't they kicking these people off when you body shame? Is it because body shame is not against the law?
What should they be doing? What are they doing? So let's look at that. What should they be doing is that they should be monitoring this closely. How many times have, I've reported things and done things. You would have done the same in terms of, for whatever reason, violence, nudity, racism, all of those kind of things. They come back and they say there's nothing wrong with it because the bots tell them there's nothing wrong with it. So what should they be doing is monitoring it a little bit more closely. We've had 2018 just kind of almost go by, if I can put it that way. We've had Facebook in front of Congress twice. What has come out of that? So what should they be doing is one thing. What have they been doing is being able to keep followers, being able to get more and more people. And remember, scandal sells.
Well, we're sitting here talking about Twitter and Facebook. So
there we go.
Bad PR is almost good PR in this. As we begin to wrap this up very quickly, you are advising Meghan Markle. She's now gotten hold of your cell phone number this evening to phone you for advice on social media. What should she be doing, and what should anybody else be doing who is a victim of body shaming on social media?
The first thing is that if you put yourself out on a public platform, understand that there's going to be, whether we like it or not, whether it's right or not, we should understand that it's going to be coming our way. So either block, don't look at it, don't be exposed to it, don't be there, if that's how serious it is, just depending on the serious nature of it. In a person like Meghan Markle, where there's a celebrity angle, there's a public person, a public profile, she's got to understand that somebody's got to manage that. So keep it away from her, in inverted commas. From the second aspect perspective is that we've got to look at it in terms of what's the reality. The reality is that when we are on everywhere, so we're on WhatsApp and all the lists, the names that you've went through, because we've got to wrap this interview up, is that we've got to understand the more we expose ourselves, the more it comes in. Yeah. So the less you expose yourself, the less it comes in.
What do they say? Don't feed the trolls.
Don't feed the trolls.
Yavi Madarai, host of Tech Matters and also social media expert, joining us here on Newsnight. Thank you.